Hello guys, Solohood here. In today's video we are going over the setup I'm currently using, still Bloodmage Spark, which is a little different from the one from the previous video. We transition into a chaos damage setup and invest in some more currency into the build. First of all, a little disclaimer, I think the build right now is in a good state. We can easily run tier 15 and tier 16 map and also clear some endgame content. That said, it's probably still not well rounded enough to handle every single piece of content in the game. So yeah, it's definitely good enough to build around and have fun with, but if your goal is to farm literally all of the game's content, you might want to look for something else. Now, the main mechanic of the build. Basically we use Spark as our main source of damage. It's the skill we spam to clear white mobs and blue packs. At the same time, thanks to the critical strike and the elemental ailments we inflict, in our case the freeze ailments, we gather energy in order to cast the comets that's linked to those buffs. That's the core cycle of the build. Spark for clear, comets for burst on rares and bosses. Alright, let's start breaking things down. At first I thought about going into gems, but maybe it's better to begin with the ascendance and the passive tree. Actually, wait, I think it's better if we cover the item before the tree, that will make easier to follow. So, items. Let's start with the amount of spirit we need to run all of our auras, which is 315. For the helmet, I'm using Alpha Howl, which is really solid unique for this build. You don't need a corrupted version, but you do want the spirit he provides, since we need quite a lot of it. The double aura presence radius is also huge for quality of life for this kind of build, because of Spark. Spark projectiles fly far away from us. The extended radius makes sure our Curse's aura and Withering Presence aura still affect enemies even at higher distances. It will make more sense once we took the gem, don't worry. Then we come to the most important unique in the setup, the original Sin ring, which converts all our elemental damage into chaos damage. This is what allows us to scale chaos damage across all our skill and setup, and also get advantage of the negative chaos resistance with the spare curse we can inflict. The other big unique are the gloves, which give us instant life leech on critical strike. Since we crit very often, this became one of our two main sustain mechanics. On the glove, I strongly recommend rolling 2 socket to fit the Wither Magneton runes, since these further reduce enemy chaos resistances, and gloves are the only slot where we can place those kind of runes. For the rest of the gear, remember the target, about 315 spirits in total, so grab the remaining amount from your body armor and amulet. Look for life, spirit and resistance. Also, get some high energy shield amount of your body armor, since Crimson Power, the point on our ascendancy, turns that energy shield into additional maximum life. On the amulet, prioritize spell damage, spirit, plus level to all spell skill, even plus 2 is fine, critical damage bonus and cast speed. The second ring should have chaos damage, life, cast speed and resistances. On the focus you want chaos damage, plus level to all spell skill, spell damage, cast speed, crit chance, crit multiplier, those kind of things. For the wand, the same, spell damage, chaos damage, level of all spell skill and crit stats. Ideally at least one of those two should have cast speed, but I didn't manage to get it. Boots should be life, resistances and the movement speed, and the belt is just life and resistances. Remember also you can use runes to fill missed resistances if necessary. Regarding the flask, the key one is a strong life flask with at least part of the recovery applied instantly. Since all our spells cost life, we really want that kind of panic button to instant recovery. For the charms we need freeze and stun immunity. The last one could be bleed immunity, but honestly I didn't find bleed very dangerous. I never died from it this patch, so I went with the golden charm for item rarity. No mana flask since we don't use mana, and that will be clarified when we look at the passive tree. Alright, that's enough about the items. Now let's look at the gems. From the Ascendancy we get the Life Remnants, which regenerates life while we walk and pick up those red globes. I link it with Remnant Potency and Harmonic Remnants. Our main damage skill, Spark, which is linked to Ricochet 3. 4 could be also a good option here. I'm not sure which one is the better, but I find Ricochet clear better. It's just a sensation. I'm not sure which one clear better the maps actually. Linked with Consider Casting, Projectile Acceleration and Rapid Casting. Since my gear doesn't provide a lot of cast speed, these support help smooth things out. Finally, I link Tool Stillness, which let chaos damage contribute to freeze build-up. This gem is mandatory since we need chaos damage to apply freeze to our enemies. Then we have the custom critical setup. Comet, Atalui Bloodletting and Embitter, linked with Spell Cascade and Efficiency. This is the combo that makes this kind of Comet it's insanely hard. Atalui scales Comet damage with life cost, and Embitter convert those physical damage gain to cold. And thanks to our original sin, that cold damage became chaos damage. Efficiency gem keeps the life cost of this Comet sustainable. Then we have the custom elemental Hymen setup, linked with another Comet and with Spell Cascade, Boundless Energy and Energy Retention, and Efficiency as well. This setup for Comet is about frequent cast rather than raw damage. Then we have our first aura setup, Withering Presence, for Chaos Resistance Reduction, linked with Prolonged Duration and Chaos Mastery. Then Blasphemy, linked with Despair, which became an aura around us, linked with Magnificent Hydra, Released Curse, Chaos Mastery, and Haten Curse, to really boost our Despair effectiveness. Both of them take advantage of the double presence radius given by our helmet. For charges we use Combat Frenzy to generate charges and Charge Regulation to convert them into crit scaling. In particular, power charges help a lot with critical chance. Then we have our Orb of Storm and Frostwall, which I usually use for bosses, and I'm currently testing other skill, but for now they work just fine. But honestly I barely use them during map, so I'm still looking for better option here. And finally, back to the passive tree. As I said, we ascend as Bloodmage, we pick up Sanguinancy, Sunder of Flesh for crit chance, Vitalis Siphon for so that we can leech on crit, which is instant leech thanks to the gloves, Grasping Wound and Crimson Power as defensive layer. Crimson Power is the reason we stack Energy Shield on the body armor piece. The three focus, as you can see, mainly on spell damage, crit chance, chaos scaling, cast speed and freeze build-up. And a very important point here, we need to take this reservation efficiency for our meta skill. Otherwise, our 315 spirit would be enough to fit all our buffs and auras. For charges, I currently take Resonance so we can get power charge instead of Frenzy, but you could drop that point for skill speed if you prefer. On every jewel, look for spell damage, chaos damage and critical damage bonus, or Wither Magnitude, if you can. Choose special jewel more worth mentioning, the Diamond from Nothing, which let us pick up useful node around chaos manipulation, and the new Abyss Jewel Undying Hate. We need the Takered as Conqueror for that jewel, which gives us access to Sacrifice of Blood. That passives make our Comet scale even harder, thanks to the increased life cost of skill, and also regenerate life per second based on life spent. This is what allows us to sustain Spark spam without constantly running out of life. That regeneration plus our instant crit leech are the two main sources of sustain for this build. And that's basically it for the passive tree and the build overall. Now we'll go through some juice content so you can see what the current setup is capable of. And guys, as always, thanks a lot for watching and for your kind support. We are almost at 500. I really can't say how happy I am, and also considering all the positive feedback each time. Remember to subscribe if you haven't yet, like the video to support the channel, and comment with any kind of question or feedback you might have. Thanks a lot, and I wish you a great day.